Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Eddie Marcus here, again, spokesman and advocate of basic human rights for all people. I think I got something that's going to be really good for us today. For some of you guys who say were born in the late 60s, maybe you got a chance to watch some westerns, and you got a chance to watch a lot of gangster movies, Al Capone, and the things that were happening that were current in the events of America, city life. Miami Vice, stuff like this. You recall in some of those movies, you would find a guy that would be brutal and would have a personality that would draw people to them, and yet at the same time be able to do things where if you weren't a part of that group, you'd say, how could they take it? Because they are actually taking it. Can you recall anything like that? And somebody walk up to that person and ask them, why are you so cruel? Why are you so cruel to the people? And he says something simple like, business, just business. Maybe you've seen somebody who have offended somebody else, a friend perhaps, and get caught in the event. And the only excuse they offer is just business. And I know you've heard it 1,000 times. And every time you've heard it, you've had a different feeling about that just business. We're living in a country today, where we can actually see the results of business. Everything is about business. Everything. And for those who might doubt that, it is so much about business until the President of the United States is a businessman. And most of those that he brought to do the kinds of things that he needs done out there and over here, he brought in businessmen. He says businessmen can control this situation in this country better than those who have been doing it. Businessmen. And so I think about that, and I want to share with you, maybe you will think about it too. When you think about the number of people who are homeless, and you think about the system that is being perpetrated does not permit homelessness. It allows it. You think about that. Business. I think about food, clothing. There are people who have to get fed at shelters, go to soup lines, don't have food if they got a home, have to reach out. And look at that and I say, well, that's a result of business. Just business. See people who can't continue their education because of the cost. People who go to school and get out of school and take most of their lives trying to pay the cost of going to school. Look like that's causing a lot of pain and suffering, especially when it doesn't have to happen, and we say it's just business. Think about people who need health care who don't have it. People who need dental care, walk around with no teeth in their mouth, maybe one or two or three. Want to go and get some work done, costs thousands of dollars. Think about those people who got some sickness or disease, and they got medicine for it, and the medicine costs $3,000 and $4,000. I mean, just the medication, a dose, and they say just business. Think about when the floods come and people's homes not built up to certain standards, the docks and things that were supposedly built to protect the people from certain disasters fail. because shortcuts were made. And you ask the people why, and they say, well, just business. Just business. And so, if you listen to me this far, I want you to listen to me just a little further. Many of you don't know God. Many of you say you do. Many of you don't claim to know God. But none of you claim to have seen God. So for a moment, I want you to gaze your eyes upon this person here. And imagine just for a second, move everything out of your mind. Imagine just for a second that you are looking at God. Now, I am not God, but the words that are going to come out of my mouth are. And they are these. God is the creator of this earth. And everything that this earth can do, whether the resources are above it, seen or unseen, on it, seen or unseen, in it, seen or unseen, it is of God. No human being. God made human beings with all of the facilities that they could need to do anything that they wanted to do, and gave them choice. No one calling themselves a human being can exist, can survive without food, without clothing and shelter, without education and health care. And none of these can be met unless the individuals engage themselves in a career of their own choosing, careers that are designed to produce just exactly what human beings need to survive. And everything else is just cream on the top. This is the voice of God speaking to all human beings. The way to peace, prosperity, and joy is serving one God, the God of good, the God of right, the God of love. No man can serve two masters. If you can't serve God good, you're an outcast to serve the other. If you can't serve evil, wrong, with your best, and your least is showing it up for what it is, that's the evidence that you are not like that, and you become an outcast. So whatever you have to endure, what you commit your life to, is who you are. So what am I saying to you? I'm saying to everybody, if you are going through the things that's happening in this world today, and I'm not just talking about here in America, I'm talking about people who are being bombed out. I'm talking about war. I'm talking about famine. I'm talking about all of that ugly stuff. That is not of good. That is not of God. That is of the anti-God. And unless, and it must be 100%, 99.5 just won't do. The thing that will turn this nation and this world around is you. You got to take control of yourself and tell yourself you're not going to walk that way anymore. And not a power on the face of the earth is going to force you to. And you got to mean it. It doesn't matter if the whole world joins with you or it's you by yourself. There then is God. So in the meantime, I don't care what level we have placed ourselves in, just a game. Just business. Just business. Bye-bye.